Welcome to Beginner Bow. I'm going to try to show you as much as I can in this small little space how to make a bow using satin ribbon. This is the kind of ribbon that I suggest you buy, and buy an entire bolt, 100 yards. This wide one is a number 9, this narrow one is a number 3. Order it from a florist. Find a florist who will work with you. You are going to have to play with making as many bows as possible. If you celebrate Christmas, I highly recommend you buy the red in both. The best time to buy this is not right before Christmas and not right before Valentine's Day. So anytime between March and October is a great time to get red ribbon because there isn't a run on it. What we're going to do is make a bow with the number 9 and one with the number 3. And I want you to practice this over and over again. The other thing you'll need is wire. Get this from your florist as well. Find out what thicknesses they have. I have 2 thicknesses with me. The thicker it is, the tougher it is, but it is more difficult to work with when you're new. What you're going to be doing is cutting them in half for these normal, regular, beginner bows and even intermediate bows with a wire cutter that you can get at your hardware store. And of course you'll need a pair of scissors to cut the ribbon. I suggest starting with the lighter weight wire and go to your florist and ask, you'll feel a few of them, but ask to buy about 100 of these. And you'll be cutting them in, well, okay, 50. Buy 50 because you'll be cutting them in half and you're going to be practicing over and over again, so that when it's time to wrap a gift, you'll know what you're doing. So I already have a couple of them cut in half, and you want to do that before you start your bow. Cut it with the wire cutters. So what you're going to do, we're going to start with the number 9, and then I'll show you with the number 3. And you want to pull out a length of the satin ribbon to play with. And you're going to start out just making a bow that's about 6 loops, maybe 8 loops. The trick is in the twist. You're going to be twisting this ribbon, not just pinching it. I've seen some people online, they talk about just pinching the ribbon. You've got to twist it. So the very first thing we're going to do is start with the ribbon. This is the right side and this is the underside. And twist it. Did you see how I did that? I'm right-handed, so I'm starting with it, and this is my left hand on your right as you're watching this. And I'm twisting the ribbon. And I'm going to hold it in my left hand and form the loops with my right. So that's my first loop, and I'm going to twist it again. So I always have the right side of the ribbon showing on a loop. So here I have it. You see how my fingers are playing with it. This is why it takes practice, because you have to train your fingers what to do and how to hold it. And now I'm going to twist it again. So now I have 2 loops. I'm holding the twist with my thumb and 4th index finger, and maybe sometimes I'll use my middle finger to help out. Here I'm ready for loop number 3. I put it here, I twist it, and put my middle finger on top. Now I'm ready for number 4. I move my middle finger out of the way. Ready? Twist. And now I'm going to do number 5, twist, and number 6, twist. Sometimes when you're just starting out, that's enough. And you're ready to cut your ribbon and put your wire on. So I'll actually do that. So you'll take your scissors and cut off the ribbon. Then you're going to take a half of a piece of wire, and notice how I'm going to put it in between my first 2 fingers. I'm holding my ribbon with my thumb on this side and my index finger and middle finger on the underside, all around the twist. I'm going to put the wire in between my 2 fingers, bring it up and over my thumb, and bend the wire. And then I'm going to use my right hand to pinch the wire so I'm getting the tightest pinch as possible. This is why it's difficult to start with the thicker wire, because the thicker wire just is tougher to work with. It takes a little practice. So now, notice how I'm taking my left hand. I have my first two fingers and my thumb still holding it. My right hand is pulling the wire. The wire is now bent completely. And now the trick is to twist the wire. I'm going to hold the wire taut with my right hand, and then I'm actually going to twist the bow. So I got the first little twist and the wire holding the bow steady. Now I'm going to twist the bow into the wire. And it's actually making the twist of the wire tight into the ribbon, into the bow, on the bottom part of the bow. So after a few twists, I don't know if you can see this in the video, but it is twisted several times. Now you want to take your wire cutters and cut it if you're going to put it on a package, which most of the time you are. Okay, so that's just a very simple 6-loop bow. And once you master that and you can hold it together in your hands without letting it go and without the twisties getting pulled out, then you're ready for more loops. 8 loops, 10 loops, 12 loops. You're going to be making easily maybe a 20-loop bow after you practiced a lot. So here I'm going to show you how you can make one that has a lot more loops. 3, 4, 5, sometimes it doesn't cooperate, 6, 7, 8, and I didn't pull out enough ribbon. It helps to start by pulling out as much ribbon as you think you need. Okay. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And cut. Now this is what takes some practice, being able to hold that bow in your hand with all of the twists in the middle without letting go and without it moving around in your hand. And then the second part is mastering getting that wire around and pulling it, moving your thumb out of the way, and scrunching that wire around the edges, and then you get your first twist of the wire in your right hand, and then you start turning the bow a few times. Cut off the ends. Now this bow, it looks like ribbon candy right now. It's ready to go on a package, and you'll see that in a different video where we actually tie the bow onto the package. So that's beginner bows. That's the number 9. I'll show you the number 3. I have a long wire here. I'm going to cut it, so I have 2. Get some of these things out of the way. Here's the number 3. Some people find the number 3 easier to work with than the number 9, and some find it more difficult because it's so small. Depends on, depends on your hands and what you like working with. So I'm starting with the underside, turning it. I'll do an 8-loop bow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Twisting, twisting every time. Cut Then take your wire, put it through your 2 fingers, around your thumb, bring it down, pinch the wire, twist the wire once with your right hand if you're right-handed, and then twist the bow around. Take your wire cutters and cut off the extra wires, and you have a cute little bow. Again, this is only 8 loops, but that's where I want you to start when you're a beginner. 6 loops, 8 loops, get up to 10 loops until you can actually hold that twisted ribbon in your hand, get that wire in there, and hold the whole thing together while you're tightening it. And you'll make more and more loops. So practice until you can do, say, a 20 loop bow per loop. Well, if you do a 16 and you're doing well consistently, I would consider that a success. So that is beginner bows before we put the bow on the package. But be sure to watch intermediate bows and advanced bows as well.